A street girl married into well.
I went online and saw people saying they weren't poisonous, so I dared to stir-fry them for a meal. Who knew wild mushrooms really could harm people? Bringing us to this middle-of-nowhere place where the monkeys cough and the storks squawk. If we eat that exact same type of mushroom again now, maybe the transmigration mechanism will reverse itself. No sooner said than done. Early the next morning, Mona Sue and I set off, walking until our legs were worn ragged through 3 large and small parks nearby, parting every bush and inspecting every tree root just to gather half a bag of wild mushrooms that looked more or less like the ones from back then. Fearing we'd affect others and afraid the hotel would catch us cooking secretly, we specifically bought a mini hot pot, took it sneakily back to the room, bolted the door carefully, and followed the previous recipe exactly, stir-frying a fragrant batch of mushrooms with steam billowing out. Mona, if we make it back this time, I swear on my honor, I promise the light bulb I will never eat mushrooms again. I'm done for life. I trembled as I picked up a piece of mushroom. A solemn Mona Sue looked as serious as if she were heading into battle. Me too. We have to monitor each other. Whoever eats mushrooms is a dog. Each with a pair of disposable chopsticks, we shared one last look, then squeezed our eyes shut and held onto that pot, devouring the entire batch of original stir-fried mushrooms without leaving a single drop of sauce. Afterward, the two of us crossed our arms over our chests and lay down peacefully on the bed, waiting for the miracle to happen. I said in a choked voice, "Mona, see you back in our world in a bit." "Yeah, Betty. See you at the milk tea shop in a bit." Darkness gradually enveloped my mind, and sleepiness rushed in quickly. Who could have guessed? As soon as I opened my eyes, what hit me wasn't the familiar ceiling of my old, shabby rented apartment, but the magnified, flawlessly handsome face of Sean Cole. In his deep, warm voice, there was even a hint of hidden joy and relief. "Betty, you're finally awake. You scared me to death." I looked at him blankly, muttering, "I'm sure I haven't woken up yet. This is a dream, definitely a nightmare." I dejectedly closed my eyes tight and pulled the blanket over my head, not knowing how to face this cruel reality. Clearly, that mushroom meal didn't have any transmigrating effects at all. Its only effect was food poisoning. I couldn't return to my old world, and after tossing and turning through so much effort, I ended up right back beside Sean Cole, lying in a bed at a pricey private hospital. Talk about creating bad karma. What a small world for such bitter rivals. Even though I kept my eyes shut to play dead, I could still feel Sean Cole's burning, scorching gaze pinned on me. I couldn't take it anymore, so I finally snapped my eyes open and asked, "Where's Mona? Is she okay?" Sean Cole gently stroked my hair. "The room right next door. Lucas Cole is with her. Don't worry, she woke up before you did." According to Sean Cole's recount, delivered in a tone that was both annoyed and amused, the hotel housekeeping noticed the checkout time had passed without a peep. They knocked repeatedly with no answer, and fearing the worst, used a spare key to enter. Upon walking in, they found Mona Sue and me lying there stiff as boards, foaming at the mouth, completely unresponsive no matter how much they called out, with a few stray mushroom pieces scattered in a small pot by the bedside. Suspecting we were victims of mushroom poisoning or a mass suicide pact, they immediately called an ambulance to rush us to the hospital. Having just arrived in this city with no ID and knowing no one, the police and hospital ran a quick search and easily contacted our nearest guardians, the Cole brothers. I swore to myself right then, the next time I ran away, I definitely wouldn't eat mushrooms. Raw instant noodles would be much safer. Fortunately, this type of mushroom wasn't highly toxic, only causing hallucinations and a mild coma. After a stomach pump and an IV drip, a day of observation was all it took for Mona Sue and me to be hauled back to the Cole residence like 2 stray alley cats. Seeing us return with funeral parlor faces, Mrs. Watson was still as enthusiastic as ever to greet us, though her eyes held a hint of pity. "Eldest young mistress, second young mistress, next time you crave mushrooms, just tell the chef. Wild mushrooms are dangerous. You must prioritize your life. It's best to let the house chef handle it for safety. The imported ones are delicious." Mona Sue and I nodded sheepishly, our faces turning beet red as we hurried inside to hide from everyone's stares. Just as we stepped into the living room, we saw that girl, Ryan Rose, casually sipping tea on the Italian leather sofa. She looked completely at home, as if she were the lady of the house, legs crossed and holding a delicate bone china teacup. I immediately signaled Mona Sue with a wink to start our act. Mona Sue understood instantly, her amateur acting instincts flaring up. She lunged forward, slapping away Lucas Cole's hand as he tried to comfort her, and pointed straight at his face, questioning him in a voice full of tragic sorrow. Lucas Cole, who on earth is she? Why is she here? Is she your childhood sweetheart? An ex-girlfriend? Or the white moonlight in your heart that you can't forget? As Lucas Cole stood dazed, trying to explain, Mona Sue shrieked over the volume of the TV. You only married me to spite her, didn't you? You brought me back from the hospital only because she's here in your house. You want to put on a show for her, don't you? Lucas Cole, what do you take me for? A smokescreen? A romantic tool for you elite types? I've had enough. I want a divorce immediately. After finishing her long tirade without even pausing for breath, Mona Sue covered her mouth, sobbing as she ran straight upstairs to her room, leaving Lucas Cole standing there like a pillar. I put on a look of extreme worry and hurried after her. Mona, wait for me. Don't do anything reckless. As soon as we got into the room and slammed the door, Mona Sue immediately dropped her hands, revealing a face flushed red, not from crying, but from holding back laughter. Well, how was my acting? Oscar-worthy yet? I looked at Mona Sue, let out a weary sigh, and pointed at her face. Mona, what are you laughing for? You're actually crying. The moment the words left my mouth, the smile vanished from Mona Sue's lips. She touched her cheek, found it drenched in tears, and suddenly hugged me tight, sobbing like a child whose candy had been stolen. Betty, my heart feels so heavy. I feel so awful. I don't want to act anymore. Her hot tears soaked my shoulder. I know there's no such thing as absolute empathy in this world, but if anyone could truly understand Mona Sue's tangled emotions right now, it was definitely me. To be suddenly thrown into an alien world with no money, no status, and no family, thinking we were transmigrated female leads with a golden finger to protect us, only for everything to veer off the planned track. Mona Sue had hidden everything because she didn't want me to worry, trying to stay strong until she couldn't hide it anymore. In the midst of that helplessness, a man appeared to take care of your food and clothes, to shield you from the rain and sun, and even made a citizen ID and household registration for you. Despite being married in name, because it was a fake marriage, all their words and actions were measured and never overstepped. Back then, whenever business was good, Mona Sue and I would take the $100 profit they gave us to the snack street to drink and laugh together. When customers were scarce on stormy days, we'd take the leftover buns and stinky tofu to the fried rice stall next door to trade for a hot bowl of rice to share. The lemon tea guy, seeing the rice was dry, would always gift us 2 cold cups of lemon tea. But we never knew that every time that happened, the two brothers were secretly transferring several times the meal's value to the shop owners to thank them for looking after us. In those simple days filled with the breath of life, no one knew when the seeds of affection had sprouted and taken deep root in our hearts. But now, everything had changed at breakneck speed. The status of a billionaire's son was a dazzling, sparkling halo. But beneath that light was a patch of darkness, filled with calculations and unbridgeable class gaps. Mona Sue hugged me, sobbing, her voice cracking. Betty, do you know how much that emerald jade bracelet Mother Cole casually gave us the other day is worth? I shook my head. I don't know, but probably a lot. Mona Sue let go of me, wiped her tears, and held up 2 fingers in a trembling V sign. I searched online. It was the final lot from the Sotheby's spring auction last year. A pair of imperial green ice-type emerald jade bracelets. The transaction price was $400 million United States dollars. $400 million, Betty. I can feel that Lucas Cole likes me a little. The way he looks at me isn't like a stranger. But we can't go on based on just that thin sliver of affection. The gap between us is too huge. Once he stops liking me, once he's bored with the novelty, he can just toss out a check and kick me away like a dog or cat. I'm afraid I won't be able to handle the shock then. The more she spoke, the more she broke down, crying even harder. Her heart-wrenching sobs echoed in the large, cold room. I hugged her piteously, gently patting her back, not knowing what comfort to offer. Wasn't what she was saying exactly what I was afraid of? I kept pretending to be strong, acting like I wasn't moved by Sean Cole's care, but I could lie to others, not my own heart. The night Jasmine White came, I stayed up all night searching for everything about Sean Cole on my phone, reading every tabloid and scrutinizing every blurry paparazzi photo. Seeing the online experts firmly asserting that Sean Cole and Jasmine White were a match made in heaven, I couldn't sleep until dawn out of jealousy and self-pity. Mona, don't cry anymore. Stop. I wiped her tears, my voice determined. The Cole family's corporate anniversary gala is in 2 days. It'll be crowded and chaotic. They'll be busy out of their minds. Let me cover for you so you can escape first. Mona Sue looked at me with swollen eyes. What about you? Aren't you coming? I smiled reassuringly. If we go together, the target is too big and easy to spot. You go first. Once you've settled somewhere, I'll find a way to slip out 2 days later and find you. Then we'll be a dynamic duo again. Mona Sue nodded through her tears, trusting my plan. But the two of us were so naive, completely unaware that everything that had just happened, every word, every gesture, every tear, had been captured by Ultra HD surveillance cameras hidden in the corner of the room, live streaming directly to the two young masters' office. At that moment, in the luxurious second-floor office, Sean Cole looked at the computer screen and smirked ironically. Look at that. Your wife is planning to run away again, this time with a better plan, splitting up to flee. Lucas Cole, his face as black as the bottom of a pot, retorted to his older brother, Your wife probably won't stay for many more days either. She said she's gonna find Mona Sue in 2 days. You'd better worry about keeping your own wife. Sean Cole tapped his fingers on the desk, his eyes flashing with calculation. Don't worry, the words letting go don't exist in Sean Cole's dictionary. At the upcoming gala, the real show is only just beginning. The Cole Group's anniversary gala, the most anticipated event of the year for New York's elite, was the golden opportunity Mona Sue and I chose for our second escape mission. Starting early in the afternoon, a team of top professional designers brought the season's most high-end outfits directly to the villa, turning the living room into a miniature fashion runway. Mona Sue and I were spun around like tops, trying on outfit after outfit, waist cinched so tight we couldn't breathe, until we finally chose the two most magnificent gowns. At exactly 8 p.m., as the luxury cars began to roll out, just before departure, Mona Sue suddenly clutched her stomach and doubled over, her face contorted in pain. She groaned piteously, as if she were about to go into labor. Ow! My stomach hurts so much. I don't think I can go. Lucas Cole rushed over anxiously, intending to help her up and call the family doctor. But Mona Sue quickly grabbed his hand and shook her head frantically. No need, it's probably just that time of the month. Just tell the kitchen to make me some warm, ginger brown sugar water. I'll be fine after resting for a bit. I quickly jumped into character, helping Mona Sue back to her room and giving her a well-done wink. A moment later, Lucas Cole brought the bowl of brown sugar water upstairs, watched his wife drink every drop with his own eyes, and then finally left with a worried expression. I didn't say anything else, just gave Mona Sue's hand an implicit pat before heading to the party with the Cole brothers, leaving the patient at home to wait for her chance to slip away. Reality proved that the feint to the east attack the west strategy, where one person distracts the fire while the other stays back to find an exit, was extremely wise. Throughout the extravagant party, Lucas Cole had no mind for socializing. He kept checking his watch and asked to leave early no fewer than 5 times. He grumbled, Sister-in-law, Mona Sue is home all alone, and her stomach hurts. I'm not easy about this at all. What if she faints? I took a sip of wine and replied nonchalantly, Oh please, she's a girl. Every month has a few painful days like that. You're overreacting. Don't worry so much, she'll be perfectly fine after a nap. Lucas Cole frowned, muttering some calculations. But I recall Mona Sue's days are supposed to be 2 weeks from now? My memory has never been wrong. Well, I had to admit he really did pay attention to details, remembering his wife's delicate schedule like a leech. I had to work hard to change the subject with a laugh. Oh, that? An irregular cycle is as common as daily meals. Besides, ever since she came to the Cole house, she's been eating well, wearing fine clothes, and getting nourished with ginseng and bird's nest. Too much vital energy, so it came earlier than expected. It's scientifically proven. Lucas was about to say something in rebuttal when Sean Cole, my cursed husband, suddenly loomed up from behind and whispered into my ear, Is that so? Then why hasn't it come early for you? Or is it because you're too picky an eater and don't get enough nutrition? Oh, give me a break. Why am I standing here in the middle of a high-end elite party discussing a woman's menstrual cycle with these two overbearing CEO brothers? Not wanting to continue this sensitive and embarrassing topic, I used the classic escape tactic of asking to go to the restroom to touch up my powder. Yet, in the blink of an eye when I returned, Lucas Cole had vanished as if he never existed. I walked around the party, peeking and searching, but there was no sign of him. My intuition told me something was wrong. I hurriedly pulled out my phone to text a warning to Mona Sue. Run now! Red alert! Lucas Cole seems to have skipped the party and headed home to catch you. What a relief! Just a few seconds later, Mona Sue replied instantly with a short but reassuring message. Don't worry, Betty. I'm gone tilde. Seeing the message with that carefree tilde, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. Consider the plan half successful. But when I looked up and scanned the room, it seemed Sean Cole was missing too. I stood alone on the windy second-floor terrace, boredly sipping my third glass of champagne while watching the bustling crowd below. A long while later, Sean Cole appeared at the door of the banquet hall with a face full of disappointment and sadness. I looked in the direction he just came from and saw that girl Jasmine White from the other day, arm in arm with a strange man, slowly walking away in a very intimate manner. Oh, so that was it. The white moonlight in his heart loved someone else. No wonder he looked so heartbroken and lovelorn. I drained the rest of my champagne and gave a cold smirk, feeling both vindicated and a little bit pained in my heart. It wasn't until I got home that I realized I was truly drunk. My head was spinning, and everything before my eyes was a blur. Yet, in my daze, why did I see Mona Sue still at the villa, nestled affectionately in Lucas Cole's arms? Must be a drunken hallucination. What happened after that? I had complete temporary amnesia. I only know that when I woke up the next morning with a pounding headache, I found myself tucked neatly into Sean Cole's arms, met with the sight of a patch of smooth, firm, bare chest. At that moment, I really wanted to tell Mother Cole that her son only had a tan on his face. His interior was still perfectly fair. I froze for a few seconds to load my brain data, then let out a shriek and sprang up like a coil, quickly backing away to keep a safe distance from CEO Cole. He rubbed his eyes and asked in a groggy, sexy voice, "Betty, you're awake?" "Why the shouting?" I stammered. "Why are you sleeping while hugging me?" "Last night Sean Cole smirked wickedly. "You're the one who crawled into my arms. I kept pushing you away but couldn't." "Really?" I didn't believe it. No way would I be so shameless. Sean Cole propped his head on his hand and lazily patted the empty spot beside him. "Fine. It was me who crossed the line first, okay? Though we shared a bed, I swear we kept a clear border like the Chuhan frontier. I haven't done anything inappropriate." I sheepishly lowered my head and rushed into the bathroom to wash my face and wake up. Once my head had stopped spinning, I secretly locked the door and called Mona Sue immediately. There was no time yesterday, just enough to send one text. This little girl, running away and not even reporting she's safe, making me have to call first. The phone connected after 2 rings. "Hello? What the? Betty, I must have drunk fake wine yesterday. Otherwise, why would I be hearing Lucas Cole's punchable, deep, gravelly voice? Betty? Sister-in-law, why aren't you saying anything?" For the first time, hearing the name Betty from his mouth was so grating. I ground my teeth and hissed every word. "Lucas, where are you? Why do you have Mona Sue's phone?" The other end erupted into a smug, cackling laugh. "Sister-in-law, I'm right on the floor above you, in my wife's bedroom, of course. Didn't you see me and Mona Sue sleeping in each other's arms when you came back yesterday? Your memory is terrible." I slammed the phone down, my face blank, trying to dig through my memories to see where I went wrong. Yesterday, right after Lucas Cole left, I texted Mona Sue, and she replied, "Wait, Lucas Cole is just as deep and black-bellied as his brother." I went back to yesterday's text. "Don't worry, Betty, I'm gone tilde." That damned tilde. Lucas knows how to use text code and flirtatious punctuation? How could he be so low as to impersonate his wife to trick his sister-in-law to this extent? I finished changing clothes and intended to head upstairs aggressively to demand an explanation from Mona Sue, but Sean Cole blocked me at the stairs. "My brother won't let you go upstairs to see his wife. They're busy mending their relationship." I craned my neck to argue. "What about his wife? I'm Mona Sue's ride, die best friend. Husbands can be changed or dumped, but a soulmate best friend is one of a kind." "Move!" Sean Cole added one final closing statement. He said Mona Sue is still sleeping because she stayed up too late last night. It would be improper for you to go up and disturb them. I huffed. If she's sleeping, I'll wake her up. I slipped past Sean Cole's arm and flew straight to the 4th floor. Just as I got there, I saw that Lucas Cole fellow leaning against the bedroom door with a jaunty, disheveled look, his shirt unbuttoned and looking thoroughly satisfied. I knew my brother couldn't stop you, sister-in-law. What's the matter? You and my brother don't have a boring married life, do you? Surely you're not going to deny others theirs? It wasn't until after lunch that I saw Mona Sue come downstairs with a slightly strange gait. Seeing the unhidden red hickeys on her neck, I could only sigh helplessly and pull up her collar to help hide them. I asked, Mona, you just surrendered like that? Betrayed the proletariat? Where's your sense of shame? Mona Sue nodded, her voice a bit raspy, and replied sheepishly, the enemy was too strong, and they offered too many benefits. I couldn't resist. Human strength is limited, you know. Only then did I learn that from the very first day we returned to the Cole house, Lucas Cole had been secretly contacting lawyers to review all the assets in his name. It was just that between the real estate, stocks, trust funds, yachts, and supercars, it was too much. The list was so long it couldn't be tallied immediately. So it had dragged on until now. Thinking back to our previous escape, Mona Sue and I had put our heads together and taken just a few minutes to count our few hundred loose change. It was a heartbreakingly lopsided comparison. Mona Sue whispered, yesterday he transferred all the assets in his name to me, black and white, officially notarized. I'm a wealthy lady now, Betty. If he steps out of line, I'll kick him to the curb immediately. I asked tentatively, what about that Ryan Rose girl? Such a formidable rival. Mona Sue giggled. Oh, Jasmine White is the biological daughter of the eldest uncle, meaning she's Sean and Lucas's first cousin. And Ryan Rose is Jasmine White's partner. What kind of plot development is this? So is Ryan Rose male or female? I was dazed. Mona Sue replied, don't you dare ask that in front of them. They're very sensitive. Lucas Cole asked that during the meal the other day, which is why she got mad. It turns out Ryan Rose is male, a 100% genuine guy. He's a professional cosplayer who likes cross-dressing. That day, Jasmine White was crying because she wanted to enter the entertainment industry as her boyfriend's manager, but no one in the family agreed. Sean Cole was just trying to talk sense into his cousin. Oh, so it was a quiet, rebellious young lady and her boyfriend who lived in a 2D world. There were no mistresses here at all. It was all our own rich imaginations putting on a one-man show. Lucas Cole had explained all the misunderstandings and surrendered all his assets. No wonder Mona Sue was moved. That afternoon, I sat on the garden swing, my heart full of thoughts, thinking this way and that. Mona Sue had chosen to stay, but me? Did I really want to go? Suddenly, a shadow loomed over me. Looking up, I was met with Sean Cole's handsome face. I was trapped between his firm arms and the swing with nowhere to move, so I had to look up at him. Sean Cole asked in a deep, warm voice, Mona Sue told you everything, right? About Jasmine White and Ryan Rose. She's not going anymore. She's happy, I squeaked. And you? Do you still want to go? Sean Cole pressed. I hesitated, about to nod, when Sean Cole suddenly dropped to his knees before me, right on the lush green grass. From looking up at him, I was now looking down, and then I sank deep into those solemn, sincere eyes. Sean Cole took my hand and spoke slowly. Betty Lynn, listen to me. I have no childhood sweetheart, no ex-girlfriend, and no white moonlight. I married you because I like you. From the days you were selling buns with an apron covered in flour, I already liked you. I don't want you to go because I like you. I want to spend my whole life with you. As he spoke, Sean Cole pulled a thick stack of documents and a red velvet box from behind his back. I'm not like Lucas. He's an idle fellow who doesn't have to manage the group so he can transfer all his shares to his wife without an issue. I'm the head of the family. I must keep 5% of the shares for voting rights to preside over the board meetings. But the other 95% of my personal assets, including annual dividends, have all been transferred to your name. From now on, you are my creditor, my boss. That tall, powerful man was now kneeling before me with a look of piteousness, as if afraid of being abandoned. He had suddenly turned into a large golden retriever, soaked from the rain, begging his mistress for mercy. I looked at him, my eyes blurring. You never said you liked me before. How was I supposed to know? He replied, I thought actions were more important than words. I thought you already knew. Betty Lynn, from now on, I'll say it a bit more. I'll say it every day. Sean Cole opened the velvet box. A brilliant pink diamond as big as a quail egg sparkled under the sun. Betty Lynn, will you agree to marry Sean Cole? Truly marry me this time? I smiled, happy tears rolling down. I do, you idiot. A few months later, the four of us held a super romantic wedding of the century on a private island in the Maldives. Although everything started from a bizarre fake marriage in a trashy novel, fortunately, our story finally ended up on the right track to happiness. After the wedding, we moved out of the old Cole villa to have our own space, each couple living their own little life, warm and fulfilled. Life would be perfect if that Lucas Cole fellow didn't show up at my house every single day to mooch food and borrow money. On the NTH day Lucas Cole came to borrow money, he completely discarded his Cole CEO image, hugging Sean Cole's leg and refusing to let go, crying piteously. Brother, I'm your own biological brother from the same parents. What's wrong with lending me $3 billion? I'm suffering so much. Sean Cole struggled to drag Lucas across the floor as he went to the kitchen to squeeze orange juice for me, answering coldly with a single sentence. I don't have any money either. My wife keeps all my money. I'm still asking her for my allowance. Lucas Cole, looking dejected, desperately tried to turn and hug my leg for help, but Sean Cole blocked him halfway with a kick. Stay away from your sister-in-law. She's pregnant. Don't let your poverty infect my child. Lucas wailed. Sister-in-law, I'll just talk from here then. Please, have mercy and lend me $3 billion for now. Otherwise, I won't dare step foot inside my own house. It turns out the whole thing about the $3 billion trust fund for the first grandson that he bragged to Mona Sue about before was a complete fabrication. When Mona Sue first found out she was pregnant, Lucas Cole was afraid his wife was too young to want to keep the child, so he kept mentioning the $3 billion to entice her into giving birth. Who knew the truth had been exposed by Sean Cole a long time ago during an afternoon tea? Now that the baby was born, Mona Sue wanted the money. Lucas Cole couldn't find $3 billion to hand over to the head of the house, and afraid of being kicked onto the sofa to sleep, he didn't dare go home. Mona Sue, on the other hand, quite enjoyed the sight of him scaring himself and running around like that, so she just let him be. Sean Cole and I looked at each other and smirked. Seeing the message pop up on his phone, I finally told the truth. Just go home. Mona Sue texted saying you should go back and change the baby's diaper. If you go back now, your debt will be forgiven. The moment I finished, the figure in front of me vanished like a gust of wind, leaving behind a trailing echo. Thanks, sister-in-law. I'm going home. The living room became quiet, filled with sunlight. Half a year from now, there will be another baby here babbling and learning to speak, the sweetest proof of the love that transcended time and space between Sean Cole and me. A perfect ending to a chaotic but equally sweet journey into a book.